Hey Masterminds, what's up? Jake Mastar here. Today we're back with another animation tutorial. This time we're going to be focused on flying, teleporting, and some lasers, okay? So the reason I'm going to start doing a bunch more tutorials, I haven't really done too many in the past. I've done some animation breakdowns and some tutorials on effects and animating movement, but especially when I'm creating animations, like right now I've been working really hard on Goku vs. Superman. It's actually pretty easy for me to talk to you guys while I'm doing a particular scene. And I stopped before I got to this scene because I said to myself, hey, this would be really good for teaching you guys who want to learn how to do a scene. Now this one is going to be pretty complicated. So I think that it would be a really good example for you guys to learn how to do something a little more complicated and dynamic. So I'm going to do the entire thing, the entire scene. And you just saw the scene at the beginning of this video. If you skip past, go back and watch it. The reason I'm making this video is because I have this scene with Superman where he's flying towards Goku and shooting out a bunch of laser beams at his eyes. Right, and I want Goku to be flying towards Superman and dodging it by teleporting. And he's dodging all these laser beam blasts while he's flying towards Superman, and he's going to punch him. So what I need to do is I need to draw a scene where laser beams are flying towards Goku while he's flying towards them, and he's teleporting around and as he's dodging them. So this is a really tough scene that I'm going to do. All right, so right now I just have a picture of Goku. This is just the bare minimum outline of Goku, and basically I have a whole bunch of extra layers to add. Now what I'm gonna do is add a layer for the hair and a layer for the clothes for his body, and it's going to be moving in a 3 symbol, meaning it's the clothes and the hair are both going to be moving 3 times on repeat, essentially. So that's what I have to do, and then I'm also have to draw the laser. I have to draw, well, I already have an effect drawn for, it's kind of like airwaves that show speed, like coming towards the screen. I'll show you guys how I did that. And then the landscape is going to start really big. It's a sky landscape, and it's going to shrink small. So that's also going to show depth of the character flying towards the screen. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil tool, or you can also use the paintbrush tool if you have Adobe Animate, and I'm going to go to a new layer. Let's go to the top. I'll press F7 to create a new keyframe, and now I'm going to draw the hair. Okay, so I have 1 frame for the hair drawn, and I'm actually going to turn this off just so I can see better. And now I need to draw his clothes. So we are going to draw the clothes on top of here. And in fact, I just noticed a problem, and the problem is I'm going to want to complete his clothes from about here to, around, but his head is going to interfere. So when I try and color, that's going to create a big problem. So sometimes you'll encounter problems and you'll realize this. So what that means is I have to cut out his head, essentially, and make that a new layer as well. So I'm going to have 4 layers. I'm going to have the lower outside body. I'm going to have the head. I'm going to have the lower outside body, then the clothes, then the head, then the hair. So what I can do to cut out the head fairly easily is take my lasso tool here and literally just cut out the head. Alright, and now you notice it took a lot of these outside lines that I don't want, so I go to my selection tool with V, and then I can hold shift and I click those lines that I don't want. Okay, so everything else I have it. Now I want to cut this. Okay, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to do edit paste in place. I'm actually going to hide that layer so I can go and I can refill this stuff, because I'm going to have to color this, so it needs to be connected. If it's not connected, you won't be able to color it. Okay, so now we're good. So now we have the hair, and now we need to draw the clothes. Now the clothes are going to be above the lower body, or the lower layer, which is, you know, his arms and his pant leg and stuff. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to create a new layer and a new frame. And I'm actually going to hide his head and his hair so it doesn't really interfere with my field of view. And then let's draw some clothes. So let's draw his gi. Okay, I mean that's it. That's pretty simple. Maybe once I start coloring it, it might it'll look a lot better once I start coloring it. For now, there's all these lines and it's really confusing, and that's why you typically only work with one layer at a time. So for intensive purposes of this video, let's just at least start with basic coloring. Just one shade, and then if I decide I want to later, I'll go in and I'll add more shades. In fact, if I want to fully animate this scene, I think I really have to. So I have a file here, just kind of like an asset extra file, which has a lot of pictures that I drew in advance that I knew I was going to be using. And I'm actually just going to take the colors. Actually, I changed the colors. I made the dark a little bit different. So I'm going to take this. And actually, you know what? I don't want dark. I want the light color. So I use my pen dropper tool, and I pick up the light color, and I can even go to my other file, and now I can fill it. Now, it's probably not going to fill on first shot because I have this activated, which is gap size. It means it will only fill it if every gap is closed. And a lot of these gaps you can't even see with your naked eye. Oh, well, we got lucky and it worked, actually. That's pretty nice. But if that doesn't work, make sure you go to the circle right here and you do close small gaps. That usually solves the problem with coloring if you guys are ever having that problem. So I'm going to keep it on that because it's just more useful to have it on that. Alright, so let's take the rest of the colors. Let's take some of this orange here, color that, and then we need the blue as well. Okay, now let's go to the next layer. We still need the, whoops, I'm gonna need to lock my lower layer. Go to the close layer, give this that, and then I can use the pen dropper tool, pick up the orange, and fill this. And it won't let me fill it because there's some gaps. You see this gap right here. So you have to go through and make sure that every single gap is closed before you go and color, which is a big pain. I don't know if other animation tools have ways around that, but in Flash it is time consuming to color and constantly fill holes, but it's just something you got to deal with. So now I should be able to, okay, it's still not working for some reason. There we go. Alright. Now let's turn on the head, and we'll give the head the base color. And I usually do shading last. I don't start with shading. I usually start with a base color and then I'll go and I'll do shading. Zoom in a little bit here. Fill in the eyes. And then usually what I like to do for eyes and mouth to add little detail that actually really helps quite a bit. And I love doing this. It really adds, it's a very easy, quick thing to do, and it adds tons of quality just to the picture. It makes it look so much better. So for eyes, I add a little bit of gray here on the top, and I kind of curve it. And then I also do the mouth on the outside, and this adds some depth. Okay? Now we're going to fill these. Alright, so that helped a little bit. Let me go back here and take the dark, because the nose is shading on the face. Whenever they have this triangle for Dragon Ball Z characters, that's always dark, and also the area under the chin right here is always dark. And then, oops, I don't know why I must have been drawing on the wrong layer. So this is dark, and then these are usually dark. I mean, I said I wasn't going to do shading, but I really need to. So I'm just going to start filling in some of the shading here. This is some, whoa. Start with the stuff we know is going to work. Now I must have a gap in here somewhere. So I may even have to do closed medium gaps, yeah. Sometimes the gaps with painting can be a real pain sometimes. But sometimes it's just like one little setting will fix it. Sometimes you just got to do it manually because it's not cooperating. Okay, and then I also have set hair colors here. So I'm just going to take this blue, because that's the blue I've been using. Okay, and now let's just fill the hair. Oh, and I just realized there's going to be a problem with the hair. Because if I turn on the hair only, it's not connected here, right? So, what I want to do with this is I need the part with his ears that connect here. So I'm actually going to turn on the head, and I'm going to take that part of the ear, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back up to the hair, and I'm going to paste in place. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure that when I animate the hair, it's not overflowing his ears, and it still kind of looks like it's in front of it and behind it at the same time. And I just want to get rid of any extra lines here, like this guy. Okay, and then I can just color the hair if this thing wants to cooperate with me. There we go. Alright, so now let's look at the whole thing. Okay, so, and then zoom out a little bit. So it looks pretty good. Obviously, it still needs a lot of shading. So let's just go ahead and do the shading for this guy. And because I said I was going to fully animate this thing, and I want you guys to see what the entire process is from start to finish, so you can try and do the same thing yourself. All right. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to finish shading, and I'll start, since I already have the dark color for the darker shade of the skin. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to start animating and coloring some of these other parts. Now, the important part here is you got to make sure that you're working on the right layer, or that's going to be a huge pain later on. So the reason I had to turn my camera off is because I am working on a graphic tablet right now, and otherwise I would have had to move my I guess I could have just moved it over, but I don't know, it's feeling lazy. This arm is going to be kind of hard to shade because there's so many little like crevices and stuff in here. So typically when you're looking at shading, there's two things you want to pay attention to: the light source, and if there's clothes or another body parts covering it, then you want to add shading around that. So for example, when I was saying this clothes around it, this little part of his sleeve is essentially covering his arm. So that automatically is going to add shading right next to the sleeve. And that's also going to make the sleeve pop out more. So probably do something like this. And oh, so you know what? I just drew it on the wrong layer. So let me lock these other layers I'm not working on. I'm actually working on the lowest layer right now. Okay. Paste in place. Alright, so I just cut it and I pasted it on the right layer. Okay. And let's just keep shading to add depth to this guy. Oh, okay, I see what's happening here. I have to close off all these other layers. It's not shut here, so that's why I was doing that. So, easy fix. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a line there, and that will fix that problem. Okay. So now I can continue adding shading. And I kind of want to keep the clothes on so I can see exactly what I'm doing here. I just decided you guys might actually want to see how, you know, I'm working on it from the tablet. So I just moved my webcam over here so you guys can see. And if you guys are interested in this tablet, I'll put a link to Amazon where I got it from. It's actually a really, really good tablet. I love it. It's not a Cintiq. It is a different brand called Yenova, and I did a ton of research before I bought it because I wanted to make sure that it was good. And it is really good. It does have some driver problems, but for the most part, it's like better than Cintiq, and it's way cheaper. All right, so we got the shading in the arms. Let's add the darker levels of shading now, and again, I'm just using this as a reference to pull colors from, just so I can have my colors consistent as the other pictures in the video. I don't want all these like random colors all the time. Sometimes you need to use different shades for certain scenes, like sometimes this color of skin won't work for a particular scene and you'll have to lighten it or darken it, but for the most part you can use pretty much the same colors. Alright, now I just have to add the dark shade. And you know what, I'm going to add a little bit more here just to add depth. Alright, now he needs a dark shade of orange for the shadow on the shirt. And so for this, I still have the head locked, but I want to see where it is. You know, I want to see the hair too. So I can see how, remember what I was saying before, is that the shadows are kind of based on not only the light source, but how it's affected by other body parts and clothes and stuff. So, you know, for here, the head is actually going to play a big role in the shadow around his body here. And I just noticed something else. I don't have a neck for him here. Now, if you're seeing him from kind of like from this view, the neck should kind of come out like this. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to my head layer, and I'm going to draw that first. And I'm actually going to include that to the head layer, because that's going to be static. It's not going to change. So I'll go back to my pencil tool here. I'm just going to add this in. And that's usually dark. Let me see how this looks from far away. No, it looks pretty bad. No, it should be bigger. So I'm gonna try that. Sometimes you just gotta experiment with it. I mean, I draw and erase a lot, and it's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do to make it look good. Let's see if that will look any better. Yeah, that'll look much better. Oh, you know what? I have to connect this because it's not connected to the hair. All right. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give that a dark, and then I'm going to add some tints to it. Like I can make his chest or something light here. Let's play around with it. Now, since it's underneath its head, you want it to be pretty dark. Still needs a little bit more lights. You know, I think the whole back behind his neck should be light, to be honest. Nope. There's the problem. Okay. I bet you this looks way better. Okay, so we're also missing the blue that comes out from his neck, but that's actually really easy fix. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw it like this. And then I'm just going to give it that blue color. Okay. Looks pretty good. And I mean, again, this picture is going to be moving super fast, right, towards the screen. Actually, you know what? His leg needs some shadow. You know what? I'm not even going to play with the shadows of the clothes right now. I think this is actually good enough. Like, there's so little orange. I think adding shadow won't really affect too much. And I guess the only really orange shadow that I know I could add is on his leg, without like conflicting anything, and I'd put something like this. So let me just try something here. Okay. So now we have some depth, and I think this looks pretty good. There's actually a couple more things I wanted to do. I also would like some shading on the hair. I need to do that as well. Let's give some more detail to the hair. For Goku, like, hair is super important. Okay, so I think that's pretty good detail for the hair. Now let's give it the shading. So I'm going to pick up that blue that I used and start shading this. So an easy way to shade if you're having trouble with it. With hair, it's actually very easy to shade. You always, so for the bangs like this, the shading always goes behind like that. Okay, and then for the side, for these spikes, basically what you do is you always connect like the outer edge like this. At least this is how I do it. And I just do that, and it kind of adds like a little bit of depth. Okay, so let's just color this real quick, see what happens. So the reason it's not filling the whole thing is because I have closed medium gaps, and so maybe I want to do close small gaps. He's gonna be flying fast, right? And we're gonna have to redraw his hair and his clothes basically 3 times. We don't have to change his face or his lower body, but layers, the second layer and the top layer are both gonna have to change. So I probably shouldn't have spent too much time on the hair. So maybe I'll just do his, nah, I really gotta redo his hair. It won't look cool if his hair isn't flying around like crazy. Alright. So, I'm going to select the clothes. I'm going to do edit. Modify, convert to symbol. Sorry, I was on a different window there. Hit OK. Now I'm going to double click to go inside my symbol. Now, I'm probably going to have this flying like super fast, like meaning on ones on 1 frames. So I'm going to probably do only 3. I said as in the beginning of the video, I was only going to do a 3-frame symbol, and just enough that it shows a ton of like movement. It may not be mega smooth, but he's going to be flying so fast that it'll look pretty good. Like it's not worth going up to like a 5 symbol or even like a 10 symbol, because you know he's going to be flying towards the screen and teleporting, and you know your eye's not going to pick it up, neither your brain. So what we want to do is create 2 new frames here, and basically what I'm going to do is copy it and then paste in place on both of those frames. And I actually created a I need to delete this. Okay. So what I'm going to want to do is change this part needs to wave, the back needs to wave, and these need to fly in and out. Okay. Now some of this can be easy. It can be as easy as just clicking, and sometimes you can just pull your lines in. That's why you want to use vector art. It's really good. Oops, I can do that. Using vector art is meaning like the line tools is really good for coloring and modifying shapes that you've already drawn, right? So I can save a lot of work. Instead of like deleting this whole thing and redrawing it, I can just move it around like this, and that saves me a crap ton of work, and still essentially accomplishes the same thing. Now if I delete these, I can do the same thing here as well. So I'm going to have it kind of fly out and then fly back in. I may even want to, want to do as much movement as I can, basically. Okay, so as you can see in the scene, this looks good actually. This looks really good. So as he's flying towards the screen, it's really going to show like his clothes are flapping quite a bit. So that pretty much accomplished what we were trying to accomplish. That's good. Now we just got to do the hair, and then we can start animating all sorts of stuff. The hair is the one I'm a little worried about. Like, I really don't want to have to do this again. Alright, so convert it to a symbol, and we're going to do the exact same process that we did with the clothes. I think for this one, honestly, I'm only going to do a 2 symbol. And while it doesn't look as good, it's just I put too much detail in the beginning, and that's my fault, because redrawing this over and over and over again is not efficient. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, make a new layer, and paste in place. And the first thing I can do, so I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm just going to erase the outer edges. I need to just erase most of this guy. Because if I'm only if I'm only changing the outer edges, then it's not gonna look like the inside of his hair isn't gonna be moving, but the outside will be, and it'll look really weird. So I basically have to redraw it, but I do want to keep some of the key points in here being the outside of the ear. Remember, I had to copy those lines, and this part inside his hair, like the static parts, I'm going to keep the same. That's why I didn't just delete the whole thing. So let's do it again. So I'm trying to draw it a little more wavy, and that'll kind of help add to the effect that he's flying fast and not just static. And what I can also do is put on my onion skin and see how it looked before, which will help a lot. Alright, it's not perfect, but I'd really like to do a third frame, but I'm not gonna do it just because this video is already way too long. I can always come back and add a third one anytime I want. So let me save this real quick because I've done a lot of work. Okay, we're back. Sorry. So I had to move the this. Oh, so usually what I do is I use my tablet to draw. And then when I'm animating and doing sound effects and all sorts of stuff, I move my Adobe back to my computer so that it's much easier for me to animate with a mouse because it's just like hotkeys and all sorts of stuff. Alright, so what we're going to do, now we have our Goku, his stuff is flapping in the wind, and now we have to animate him. So what we're going to do is I'm going to copy all 4 of these frames, and I'm actually going to go into a new scene so I can see how this looks. And I'm going to do insert new symbol. Sorry, I went over to my tablet there. Hit OK. And I'm actually just going to paste my frames. Okay. And then I'm going to drag my symbol over here. And I want Goku to be flying towards the screen. So I've learned something from anime, just watching a lot of anime, how they do that with like a static image, how they make it look like he's really pushing hard against the wind to come towards you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn this entire symbol into another symbol so that I can give it a tween. So I'm going to copy it on the 3rd frame, I'm going to paste it in place, and I'm going to make it kind of big like this. and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in place. And now I'm going to shrink it a little bit, but not as much as the beginning frame. Okay, that's perfect. I'm going to give both of these motion tweens. Whoops. I'm going to give both of these classic tweens. Okay, and I'm going to fix this little bug in his eye. I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay. So let's take a look and see what this looks like. Yeah, so that looks pretty awesome. I mean, it looks like he's flying towards the screen. So what I want to do is have Superman shooting eye laser beams at him, and he's kind of like teleporting and dodging it. Okay? So that's what we're going to do next. Alright. So now that I have my Goku, he's actually going to start way back here. Okay, so I created this before. Let me just take a sky. So I have this really big sky tween here. And basically what I just did is, I'll just show you how I did it. So, you know, landscape art is super important to the quality of animation. Like, the landscape art is like literally like can make or break in animation. So I actually have a friend of mine, he does my landscape art now. He wasn't even a landscape artist, but he just got into it to help me, and he actually got really good. So he created these clouds for me. He painted them in Photoshop. So I have clouds that are just the size, this image is just about the size of the frame. I actually want it to be the exact size of this whole frame. So what I can even do is put it in the corner just to make it exact, and I can drag this little anchor point to the corner, and now when I pull it, it'll cooperate, and it won't change the other sides. Come on. Alright, well that's as good as I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm going to move that anchor point back, or that'll mess with me later when I do the tween. Okay, so this anchor point is actually going to be the end, because I want the clouds to be big and then shrink as he's flying towards the screen. So I'm actually going to copy this. I'm going to go to about symbol, let's go like 60, frame 60, and create a classic tween. But in the first frame, I'm going to make it like really big. You know, I'm even going to, there's not really any clouds there too, so let me see what this looks like. Alright, so it moves kind of slow, but yeah, it doesn't really look that good, to be honest. There's a couple other tricks we can do, so let me try some stuff. Okay, that looks alright actually. So I moved the area where it is. Okay, so there's another symbol that we can add, which is very common in anime, and that's this one. So let me just turn off the, you know what, I need to keep the sky so you can see it. So basically all this is a 3 symbol, meaning it's 3 different images inside of a repeating symbol. And it starts off like this, which is just like these airwaves around the center, and then on the next frame it expands, and on the next frame it expands again, and this is like around the outside of the border. Now notice there's also it also starts in the beginning. So basically what this is like a loop. It's a loop that looks very smooth, and that's usually how what you want to do with symbols, right? So I actually want to put Goku dead middle, and now let's take a look at this. Okay, so Goku actually needs to be above this. Alright, so it looks like he's flying towards the screen. But we need to do some stuff. So let's have him flying towards the screen for like 10 seconds. Now we got to do our lasers. Okay, so I need to create a symbol for laser beams flying in at Goku, and then as it flies in at him, he's going to kind of like teleport and appear somewhere else, and then laser beams are going to fly there, and then he's going to teleport and be somewhere else. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on right now. So I should have him flying for like maybe half a second, so we'll go to frame 10, and whoops, and this is where we're going to have the laser beams start. So let's draw some laser beams. So you have to realize that this is kind of like a angular. This is an angular landscape or scene, so it's outside pointing in essentially. So you can't just draw your lasers like straight. Essentially, it'll look like really dumb. So what you have to do is, you want to go something like this. In fact, the anchor point, the middle should be a dot, and it should expand as it goes out. So something like that. Because these are Superman, and I want it closer to. Let me just move this a little bit closer. Okay, so that'll be pretty good. So now we're creating Superman's eye laser beam. So let's fill this with white. Come on. There we go. I'm going to cut out the white. I'm actually going to delete these lines because we don't want them. But we're going to convert. Whoops, what did I just do? We're going to convert these just white lines to a symbol, and we're going to give them 2 glows. So I just started working with double glows and working with different combinations of like 2 glows mixed together, and also depending on which one is first, it changes, like it can make a glow look amazing or really crappy. So you have to really play around with your glows, and I found one that is really awesome. So you make the bottom one this orangish color right here, turn your quality to high, increase the strength and the blur, and then you turn your top color to this this yellow right here, and then do the exact same thing for your strength and your blur. So now this looks like some really badass laser beams, right? Additionally, they're a little still too angular, so we're gonna give it a blur and make it high. And that's a little too blurred, maybe a 2. Okay, that's good. Now, also the other thing about lasers is they got to pulse. They have to pulsate, right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go inside this symbol, and it's going to pulse very fast. So I'm going to create another frame inside that symbol and just make it like just a teeny bit bigger. Something like that. All right, so I have this symbol playing the whole time, so we can see what this looks like. Okay, so it looks pretty good. All right, so at the point this laser comes, we want Goku to teleport. So at that particular point, we're gonna create a new symbol for his teleporting technique, okay? So this, I usually have to play around with these a little bit to get it right. Sorry, let me just lower that a little bit. So usually have to play around these a little bit, but it's usually a combination of some lines, and also you create a symbol with like flashing character lines and just some brush tool of their colors. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So first, I'm going to turn on my onion skin so I can see Goku's image. And I'm going to start creating this new symbol here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a combination of thick black lines and skinny black lines. Oh, that's too big. Okay, so that's decent, but I'm gonna just to make it look better, I'm gonna give it even some more just skinny ones in there. If this thing will cooperate with me, it'd be nice. So I could just do it like this. Let's turn this to a symbol. and just play it this way. So what I'm going to do is if it's only one frame flashing, like you're probably not even, your eye isn't even going to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a 2-frame symbol with 2 empty spaces after. So it'll just blink and then it'll disappear. All right. So what I need to do is have this for, I don't know, maybe 10 frames or so. So it'll blink like 3 times. Yeah, that sounds good. So I want 10 frames. So on frame, here's at 11 on frame 21. Yeah, I'll stop it there. And Goku's going to be teleporting, and then Goku is going to teleport back, let's say, over here. And we're going to have to make this bigger because we're increasing Goku's size as well. And we want it to blink, let's say like twice. We'll go to like 8 frames. 8. And I want to take this old Goku symbol and I'm going to move him over here and increase his size quite a bit. And oh, the laser should have stopped about there. Now the lasers, so he's flying. The lasers have to come back. This time they come here and they're bigger because he's getting closer to the screen. But at this point, once the lasers shoot, Goku is already teleporting again. So then we put the teleport again. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so it looks pretty good, but the teleporting looks really bad. So I'm going to show you guys how to make this symbol a lot better. All right, so let me take this Goku symbol and then go in here. And now instead of, we're going to make this a bunch of frames. So instead of 2 on, 2 off, it's going to be 1 line and then the Goku symbol. But the Goku symbol is going to be alpha. And we're going to turn it way down. So it's just going to be like a little blur. And then we'll give it like 2 spaces. And then we'll make it the Goku symbol again. This time no alpha. Or no, you know what? It needs alpha. And then the lines. And then like 2 spaces and then the lines. So let's see how that looks now. Alright, so it looks pretty good. The only thing it really needs is a good blur. So let's blur the shit out of this. Okay, let's see it now. Okay, it's starting to look good. Now I just want like one more. Alright, so starting to get good. There's still a bunch more things that I want to do here. Alright, so let's extend this because I want him to teleport one more time. So after he's done teleporting there, and this laser needs to stay for a little bit. Whoops. Let's see. You know, that seems about good. So here, I want Goku to be way up front like this. And we'll just have him teleport a little bit. And then we're going to put Goku right dead center, really flying towards the screen. And extend it the rest of the way. Okay, so let me just take a look at this. And you really have to test the scene after just about everything you do. Okay, so the thing is also choppy because I have so many effects going on. It's really slowing down Adobe Animate, but I think when I render this, it might look better. You know, and one other thing I want to do is I don't like all this empty space here. It makes it kind of go too slow. Alright, so there's a couple more things I want to do. So I want these lasers to feel a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it that flashing light that you guys all hate. I already have it built. I'm not going to remake it. But it's basically just, you just make a square with white, convert the white to a symbol, make it 1 frame on, 1 frame off, and then give it an alpha. And that's how you do it. So I'm going to do that, but there's something else I want to do. When the laser is coming, I want the background to be black, like dark, right? Now, I can't change the tint of my sky because it's involved in a tween, but what I can do is make an alpha black square like this, convert it to a symbol, and then, whoops, give it an alpha. Alright, let's try this. Let's see how this looks. Alright, so it's way too much flashing lights. Cut that down quite a bit. Alright, so now we basically just need to do sound effects and we'll be just about done with this scene. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I might revisit this just to play with some stuff, but pretty happy with it. So have to give it, I have this laser sound effect, laser heavy. Perfect. So let's put laser heavy in here, and then I also need a sound effect for Goku's teleport. So every time he makes that, he does that sound, I need to give it the teleport. And I actually have the teleport file sound effect from Goku Saitama, so let me go find it. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna put that sound effect in, and it's called Teleport Best. Just gotta make sure the sound quality is very high. And then every time he teleports, I need to put that in. And I probably also want to give it like a missile, or yeah, like a flying sound effect, like swoop. So I have chain swoop, but I think swoop is, so swoop is a Dragon Ball Z sound effect that's like free for download. Let me see if it's gonna work here. I can try it. I don't know. I really try and stay away from the old Dragon Ball Z sounds because they're just like really low quality. Alright, let's see how it is, guys. There's one more thing. I really don't like these lines. I really don't like this stuff. Especially like them being different thickness. Like, this is gonna change. So I'm gonna make them all the 0.5. That should be better. So thank you guys for joining Mastar Media's animation tutorials today. I know this was a really long one, but I covered a lot of things here, and I hope it helped you guys out. As I'm working on Goku vs. Superman, I will probably do a bunch more of these because I think it's good for the community. It's a good way to help people and kind of connect with you guys. And I'm totally cool doing it. So it's a way to pump out more videos and help the community while working on my animations. I mean, it seems like a pretty good idea. I know they don't get a lot of views because the amount of people animate isn't very high, but that's okay. I mean, as long as it's helping even a few people, that's important to me. So thanks guys for checking out Mastar Media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll have more videos for you soon. God, I can't even talk today.